How you guys doing? It's Nigel Dunn here to introduce my programming tutorial video. This video is going to be geared towards novice and intermediate lifters who are looking to take the next step in their training regimen. Maybe you've reached a plateau and you want to break through it and you're not quite sure how. This is going to give you a lot of tools on exactly what goes into a comprehensive strength training program. If you're interested in becoming more effective, understanding how to program for yourself or other people, please watch all of the installments of this series, and hopefully at the end you're going to get a lot of information and know more about how to program specifically for yourself and also potentially for other people. Now we know about the continuum of rep ranges. So from this, you could say, okay, I'm going to stay from 3 to 8 in that sweet spot because I want to develop strength. Or I'm going to stay in the endurance sweet spot, which is 10 to 15. Or I'm going to get strictly hypertrophy training. I just want to stimulate muscle growth. But what you'll see is sometimes it's difficult to only do one type of rep range. Next, we're going to discuss the big four. Typically what you'll hear when you look into strength training or just working out in general, but specifically strength training, you're going to hear about the big three. And that is squat, bench, deadlift. That's the big three. But one thing that people sometimes neglect or just don't mention is shoulder press. I feel like it's a very essential aspect to any strength training program, and I think most people would support that. Your big four is going to be squat, bench, deadlift, and I'm just going to write deads for deadlift, and shoulder press. That right there, those four exercises, if you only did those four exercises, if you did enough volume, like from a week to week basis, you would definitely see some development in your physique. It's not a complete program, but it is the foundation of a solid strength program. The next thing that we want to discuss, I guess, which is the next variable, is going to be time. So what's the frequency with which you're going to hit each of these main lifts? And the time that we typically work with is a 7-day week. Let's write out the days of the week. That's what you have to work with for the week, right? We know we have 7 days. There's only so much you can do. But the beauty of kind of breaking this down by the main lifts, the 4 main lifts, or the big four, is that you can just kind of plug in which exercise you're going to do on which day. What I would do out of those 7 days is I would say, okay, I'm going to squat on Monday. I'm going to bench on Tuesday, because just because I squatted doesn't mean I can't use my upper body. And this is essentially an upper-lower split, which means Monday, lower body, Tuesday, upper body. I have a break on Wednesday. Then I'm going to deadlift on Thursday and shoulder press on Friday. This setup is beautiful because it allows your body enough time to recover before your next workout in that muscle group. So when we talk about muscle groups, squat, you're using your quads, you're using your glutes. You don't do another leg day until Thursday. So your glutes don't have to overwork. You don't have to come right back the next day and train lower body. You have 1 day of upper body and 1 break. So you should be fully recovered in that 72-hour or so window. So that's why I like that break day in the middle. And 4 to 5 days of training in the week is it's not more than enough, but it's like perfect. That's what you want, 4 to 5 days. So for a beginner, these 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, perfect. Then we need to know, okay, what are we doing on all these days? you have to then determine what weights you're gonna use, because we know we're doing 5x5. Up here, but like, okay, we know this is 5x5. I know it's getting a little jumbled, but hopefully you can kind of follow along with me. But so for squat, let's say I'm doing 200 pounds, like the example before. I'm doing 5x5, that's 5,000 pounds of work. Then I need my accessory lifts. So I've done my 5x5. Now on Monday, I'm squatting. I'm like, okay, I want to do something unilateral, which could be like a lunge, right? Maybe a weighted lunge. So I'll just put lunges here. And maybe I want to be like explosive. So I'll put some type of plyometric movement, maybe a split jump, or so I just put plyo here. So I have a lunge, I have a plyometric movement, and maybe I like to hit core on my leg days, which is something I have done in the past. So I'll do a core circuit at the end of my leg day. And that's one full workout. So we have our 5x5 on squats, then lunges, plyos, and a core circuit. That is a full day of training. Then all you have to do is say, okay, how many reps do I want to do for my lunges? How many sets do I want to do of lunges? How many reps do I do on my plyos? What type of plyo am I going to do, et cetera, et cetera. So then you're going to refer back to this spectrum of rep ranges. For lunges, I would suggest something in that like 8 to 15 range, depending on how heavy the weight is. Plyos, typically, I would suggest something from like 3 to 5, no more than 5. If it's like a super explosive thing, like a box jump. If it's something where you're just doing like a fairly low impact plyo, just like a jump squat, you can do sets of like 8 to 10, but it's kind of like you have to play it by feel. For a core circuit, that's pretty straightforward. I will say, if you're doing core work, I see a lot of people kind of going slow with that. But if you can condense like a few hundred movements into 5 to 10 minutes, that is money, and it gets you out of the gym quicker. You'll notice that I simplify my programs, especially for beginners, because I don't want you to spend 2 hours in the gym if you don't have to. So I'm gonna go through the rest of these, but just know that I wouldn't have a person, especially a beginner or an intermediate lifter, doing 8 to 10 different exercises in one workout. You gotta just vary it up over time. That might be another video, but let's get into it. So on bench day, we're going to do our 5x5 at the given weight. The first accessory, let's say I want to change the angle on, I did flat bench, and I want to do like a 3x10 with incline press. So we'll do barbell incline press, and I'll just put incline BB for barbell. So incline barbell press, and we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 or a 3x10. Then we've done 2, bilateral presses, meaning using a barbell, which is both your arms pressing at the same time. Let's do some stability / unilateral work. So we're gonna go flat dumbbell press. I'll just put DB for dumbbell press. And that's our third exercise. Now we can do the fun stuff. So if you want to train biceps, if you want to train triceps, if you want to do some back work, which I really love on bench days or like press days, like shoulder press or bench days. So I'm going to put rows here because it's a compound movement. You can get a lot of benefit on your biceps and also your back. So let's put rows here. And I would go heavy on rows. You could add another thing to that, but that is a complete day of exercise for me. So I'm gonna keep it there. Let's draw this line down. And this is a break, which I love. And the other thing that's great about these breaks is that they provide you some flexibility. If you miss a Tuesday, you can make it up on a Wednesday, and you're still able to hit your deadlifts because you squatted 2 days ago. So that's beautiful. Here we have deadlifts. We've done our 5x5. Now we need some accessories. So on our squat day, what do we do? Lunges. Maybe I want to work on like my front squat. So I'll put front squats here as Q for squat. And I'm gonna keep the weight light, but I'll do some volume. So maybe like a 3x8 for front squats. And the reason I'm not writing the rep ranges is because that's something you kind of have to determine on your own, like what type of reps and sets you want to do on your accessories. But we do know that all of these 4 lifts, the big 4, is gonna be a 5x5. So I have front squats. I still want to do something unilateral, but maybe I'll do like a body weight step up. Let's do BW for body weight step up. And then maybe we'll do core again. That's just what we do on leg days for this program. So every leg day, you know you're gonna do some core. Then we come to the last day of training. So maybe we do a 5x5 on barbell shoulder press. Because you can either do dumbbell or barbell shoulder press. But let's say we really want to develop our shoulders. We're gonna do some dumbbell shoulder press for 3 sets of 10 with moderate weight. This is a long word, so I'll just do shoulder P. So we have dumbbell shoulder press for our first accessory. Now let's do some upright rows. And the last accessory, let's do some tricep extensions. So try that, ladies and gentlemen, is the skeleton of a full workout program for 1 week. The great thing about programming is that once you have 1 week, you essentially have 3 months, 6 months, a year. However long you can do a program like this and be satisfied is how much programming you have. The only variable that you have to account for is that progression.